Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway for the Mission King of the Baggers Challenge race. Now, this will be a 2-lap race shootout. We go through the normal starting procedure, so the bikes will eventually leave pit lane for their sighting lap. Roger, pull up to their grid positions. They'll do the warm-up lap. They will then get back into their top 6 grid positions for what will be the 2-lap dash for cash, that $5,000 check presented by Mission Foods each and every weekend. Really, though, for the riders, it's about bragging rights.
It's about bragging rights and $5 grand, and it's going to be for these guys also to get extra 2 laps. And you know, it's Bradley Smith, the guy that doesn't have a lot of experience. This is going to be a huge 2 laps for him to be able to get out there and race with those guys. But it's always one of the best races of the weekend because there's no points on the line. Only thing up is for $5 grand.
We just saw Kyle Wyman during that second qualifying session blister the track record, find all of the pace. Everybody's going to be chasing him here in the challenge as well as in the 2 races that we have here this weekend. If you're Kyle Wyman, how hard do you push it knowing what you've already been able to find?
Well, I think you just try to make a break if you can early on, get a good start. But if you get stuck in a battle, you know, on that last lap, and just don't put yourself in a bad spot. You know, it's either win or nothing, I think, for Kyle. If he can't go for the win, then just kind of take it easy, and we've seen him do that before.
Looking at timing and scoring right now, and it looks like everyone is starting to find their way around the racetrack. So Roger, while they get to their positions, why don't you take us around a lap of Daytona?
Yeah, and it's a difficult track. It's like no other, you know, down into turn 1 off the banking. You'll see quite the transition there, and then we get through the infield part of the track, the first horseshoe, turn 3, really fast kink into 4, turn 5, and then turn 6. Such an important corner because it starts that run around the banking from 7 to 8. Turn 9, the chicane, a little bit different this year, a little slower on corner entry. We seen the race 2 last year decided right there into that chicane, that run out of turn 10 through 11 through 12 down the tri-oval.
Here with the Mission Challenge, we're going to see how that new chicane races for the first time with 2 wheels. We've seen it through practice and then the qualifying sessions as well, and track records have been able to be broken even though the track itself has been set up to slow them down just a little bit. We'll see how they can get through there now at race pace. Let's take a look at the grid. Top 6 from the 2 qualifying sessions. We already talked about a pole sitter, Kyle Wyman, but they're alongside him, Troy Herfoss and Laura Spaz.
And we got Bradley Smith, James Rispoli, and Tyler O'Hare. I mentioned you know, this is huge for Bradley Smith, his first race on the bagger, but the same for Laura Spaz. This is going to be his first start going down into turn 1 and racing with all these guys.
It's also going to be the first time that Loris is back out there after that pit stop that he made to get a new front tire put on. So we'll see what they're able, and with the setup of the bike and everything that they're pushing onto those Dunlops, what they're able to do here for this 2-lap race. Good opportunity to thank all of the corner workers that are around this 3.5-mile racetrack. We definitely couldn't have these racing weekends without them. All volunteers out there waving the flags and making sure that everybody stays safe and all the calls are made in to race control. Enjoying beautiful weather though. It's a great way to watch some racing. 70 degrees right now. It's perfect ambient temperature. Humidity has even dropped to below 50%. So really just a great afternoon for racing.
Beautiful day, and the big thing is the wind. Talked about that a lot yesterday. It's a lot less windy today, only 6 miles an hour. So as you said, it is perfect race conditions for these guys.
If you watch a lot of MotoAmerica racing, I know at most of the tracks that we go to, the grid is set out on the front straightaway by the start-finish line. But here at Daytona with the high banks, the grids are on pit lane.
Yeah, you just wouldn't be able to touch, especially somebody like me.
Really puts into perspective how steep that incline is.
Look at Rispoli there, 43. See, he's kind of got his bike cocked there toward the inside. He's kind of he knows where he wants to go. He wants to get kind of down on that inside, down into turn 1.
Lights are out, and we are going for the 2025 season. It is the first Mission Challenge of the year. Kyle Wyman, a tremendous start.
Great start for Kyle, a bad start for Laura Spaz. He goes from the front row to the back of this 6-rider pack, and we'll see what Kyle can do right there in the lead. Troy Herfoss also in deep into turn 3, and James Rispoli, the top 3 already looks like they're starting to get a couple bike links on the rest of the pack.
We asked the question, how hard do you push it if you're the pole sitter? Well, in the case of Troy Herfoss, started on the front row, but he also had those issues. He needs to push it.
He needs to push it, and he also wants to see where Kyle's quicker than him. Kyle's been a little bit quicker in the qualifying session, so this is a great opportunity for him to get out there and see what he can do different.
Such a great point. During practice and qualifying, these riders don't let anybody get this close to him, and while this challenge doesn't pay any points, it certainly does give away some of the riders' secrets and where they're able to make up that time. So we saw this last year. Troy Herfoss is a great student, and he was able to learn a lot from this.
Yeah, it looks like James Rispoli is going to be able to maybe make the move on Troy. Just got the run, but now it looks like James is going to be on the inside into the chicane. Troy lets off the brakes, though, as they get in where the chicane's a little bit different, a little bit slower this year, but these guys still get through there so fast.
What a difference a year makes for James Rispoli. Last year was his first year with this factory team, and he had so much to learn just in terms of how that team sets up the bike and then trying to get comfortable on a bike that wasn't built around him. But now they've made all of those changes, and he's a lot racier than what he was last season.
Yeah, he struggled, and it was a confusing year for him, and but now it looks like he's made a huge jump. This challenge is so short. We're already just down to one lap to go.
White flag waving. Kyle Wyman continues to lead up front, but Troy Herfoss is just right there.
Troy got sucked in a little bit into turn one there, I think, because of the draft. And you can see he almost got into the back of Kyle, ran a little bit wide. Now he's lost the spot.
You can see when James Rispoli on that 43, when he made that move around him, it upset the front end of that bike a little bit.
You can see James was just trying to get such a good run out of turn one. You can see Kyle starting to pull away, and they cannot let him get much further out or he will break the draft.
Loris Baz, that started on the front row, you mentioned it, had that horrible start, moved him all the way to the back. He's been able to claw himself back up into the fourth position, but nowhere near this front group of three.
Looks like James and Troy's closed the gap down to Kyle as they head up on the banking, and maybe the draft will be able. Kyle, look at the run he gets. He gets such a good run going on in the bank, and you see James trying to get a good run as well, but the bike is moving around. See the little couple bike lengths Kyle's able to pull out.
Huge gap now for Kyle Wyman as he looks to come around to the checkers. Is he going to be able to hold on to it? James Rispoli, is he going to be able to get around Troy Herfoss and make it a Harley-Davidson 1-2?
Troy got into chicane deep, made up a ton of ground on corner entry, but when they come out of the chicane, Kyle is going to be able to pull away, going to make more, not rushing the first part of it.
You can really see where Kyle's able to stretch the legs. It's able to extend that gap. James Rispoli, though, he every time they're at corner exit, he is able to get around him. And to the line, it will be Kyle Wyman with the first Mission Challenge win of the year, and his teammate James Rispoli using the draft, getting around Troy Herfoss, making it a 1-2.
Yeah, those two guys, James and Troy, did a great job there after their mistakes in the turn one to close the gap. But what about the factory Harley team, able to come out here in first and second, the first Mission Challenge of the year?
And James Rispoli on that lap with that draft was able to do a 1:49.816. That's a great lap time for James as well.
Fastest lap James did all weekend, fastest lap he's ever had here at Daytona on the bagger. And you mentioned it during the race, how he looks totally different this year, and it looks like he just has so much more confidence in the bike.
Talk about confidence. See that wheelie from the number 33, Kyle Wyman, getting to start the season off as the pole sitter for the first two races, a new track record for himself, and also now a $5,000 check.
I think most importantly for Kyle as well, he knows that, you know, he's the guy that's going to set the pace for these races. I mean, everybody's chasing Kyle.
Championship, a little different structure this year also, not as many races as what we saw last season. So each race, those points are going to be just a little bit more important as we kick off this 2025 season. Here's a look at the results, how they all ended after those two laps. Of course, our winner, Kyle Wyman, and then James Rispoli right there behind him.
Yeah, Troy Herfoss. Loris Baz able to make a couple spots after a bad start. Bradley Smith, fifth. Tyler O'Hare had an issue. I don't think completed the last lap, ending up sixth.
Great 2-lap run there for the top 6. A sign of things to come. We saw how close it was between all of those racers. Just a reminder, you can still place your bets for Baggers race number 1. These are the odds to win. These have not changed after the qualifying session, but there's a look. Loris Baz made that top 6, finished in the top 4. Look at that long shot.
Long shot. Also, after that race, I'm kind of looking at James Rispoli there. You know, but Kyle looks super strong, but James there getting a little more value.
These odds will be updated after the first race of the weekend that will be later on this afternoon before we get to the second race that will happen tomorrow after the Daytona 200. There's a look at who you can place on, but let's watch as Kyle Wyman now comes down pit lane. He will pull over into victory lane, where he will be able to celebrate this challenge win and collect that check. You see, look at the huge organization. Everybody there to greet him. Round of applause. Job well done.
Drop that, boy. Drop it. Enjoy that.
That's how we started off.
That's how we started.
I didn't learn what I needed to learn.
I know.
But I got $5 grand.
I was a little mad at you for that. Next time.
I was like, there's no way on a used tire that I'm getting away.
Yeah, but get to find out if you pull out of
Some good insight there. Used tire, and for Kyle Wyman, wasn't able to learn what he wanted, but Roger, at the end of the day, he still gets the check.
Yeah, and also it's got to be a good feeling to go out there on a used tire like that and be able to do a 40 or, you know, low 50, 50.0 and win. I don't think he was expecting the win. I think he was a little surprised. They were doing some testing for the race, and he's so strong this weekend. Even doing all that, he's able to win the Mission Challenge.
It's a good look at the victory area. Roger, you and I will be down there later on this afternoon for the Pit Crew Challenge. That's coming up at 4:15. We still have some racing to do before we get to that point this afternoon. And right now, it's time to celebrate. Let's get down to Steve English.
Yeah, Jamie, just down here in victory lane and waiting for Kyle to come over. But great race here to kick off the start of the season. And Kyle just chatting to his team, and we'll be able to hear from him in just a moment. Obviously enough, in this race we were able to see Kyle lead from the front, but good last lap battle and no mistakes from Kyle, and able to get to the flag and just about to get his check now from Richard Chu for $5,000 from Mission Foods as the winner of the challenge race. And Kyle, obviously enough in a race like this, we were able to see that last lap battle, but no mistakes from you on the start of the lap, and just opened a small gap to the two riders chasing you down.
Yeah, I got a good start, so I was like, let's see what we have. We carried the tire over from the qualifying, so I wasn't really expecting to have a whole lot to fight with. So that was really encouraging that nobody came by me on that back straightaway, and I just tried to put another clean lap together. And yeah, I looked back over my shoulder. This Krapovich exhaust is sounding so good. I could barely hear the guys behind me. So shout out to them, and yeah, 1-2 for the team. It's a pretty good start for us.
Yeah, it's a great start, and I'm not going to lie, I couldn't hear my own thoughts out there, but congratulations, Kyle, a great way to start the season. And obviously from Richard Chu, now able to take your check for $5,000 as the winner of the challenge race.
Thank you, Steve. Great to see Kyle able to hoist up that $5,000 check. It's a great way to start off the season for any of the riders. Roger, let's take a look at the highlights from this 2-lap shootout.
Yeah, and what a quick race. Only 2 laps here at Daytona. Kyle Wyman there qualifying on pole with the new outright track record. Great start for him. Troy Herfoss also. See Loris Baz didn't get a very good start, but from the early on, the top 3 guys there making the break. Troy Herfoss got sucked into turn 1 a little deep, almost got into the back of Kyle. See James and Troy, both those 2 guys trying to put themselves in the right spot last lap out of the chicane. But Kyle was just too strong today. He was able to make the move early on, make the break, didn't let anybody get in his draft.
Saw a bit of a handshake there between Troy Herfoss and James Rispoli at the end. Great sportsmanship.